Welcome back to another video on the channel, and in today's video we'll be going through each League Two club and coming up with a realistic expectation for the upcoming League Two season. Obviously we're still very on in pre-season, aren't we? We're only entering July really. Still got 4 or 5 weeks until the season starts, so all things could change with signings or departures, but we'll talk about it now, and we're going to give up an overall realistic expectation and aim for each League Two side to reach this season. So let's get into the video. So here's the tier list I've come up with. So we've got 5 tiers. The first one is obviously promotion, and then you got playoffs, top off, more of a comfortable finish, and then teams that just really just want to stay up and survive relegation. Really, so the first team we've got is recently relegated Cheltenham. Now it's a difficult one with Cheltenham. They have lost a couple of their key players, really. So I am looking towards maybe top half or comfortable finish. I think it is key for a lot of these teams. You may not get up in the first season of getting relegated, so getting in it with a comfortable finish and stabilising the club and rebuilding is key. So for Cheltenham, I will edge towards a comfortable finish the way they're going. I think there's some of the signs a little bit unproven. So at the moment, I am going to go for a comfortable finish for Cheltenham. Another team that got recently relegated, Fleetwood Town. I've been impressed with their business so far. I thought they lost a key player yesterday, Kean Haynes. I think that is a big loss, even though he didn't feature much for them last season. He's a really promising player for them. So, yeah, I think that's a little bit of a loss for them. And they need to reinvest a couple of departures that they've lost. But on the whole, they should be looking for a top half finish, shouldn't they, after getting relegated. So I'd probably go top half for Fleetwood. Port Vale, now, they're going to be favourites to go back up, aren't they? The manager that got Darren Moore, is managing the Championship, won promotion out of League One. They're bringing in some decent signings. Port Vale are. They're investing back into the side. I really like the signing of Ronan Curtis. So I think Port Vale, they'll be looking as a club on the whole for automatic promotion right now. They'll be looking to sneak into the top three, and they'll probably be one of the favourites to get the league title at the moment, but we'll wait and see on that one. Carlisle, I like the manager at Carlisle, Paul Simpson. He's done a really good job there. There's a little bit too early, I thought, to get promoted out of League Two, but you can never underestimate getting promoted, can you? You may not ever be ready for it. So taking that chance of getting promoted for the playoffs was a brilliant experience. But it was showed last season they weren't quite ready, were they? But their strike force is brilliant going into next season. I think Luke Armstrong, Charlie Wyke. I think the list goes on in the strike force. Need to bring in a few more defensive players, maybe, but as a whole, they'll be looking to get into the playoffs. I'd say next season as an aim for their club. Crewe Alexandra is an interesting one, isn't it? Obviously, got to the playoff final last season. So as a club, you'd be looking to try and progress and at a minimum, getting the playoffs next season again. But they're losing a few of their key players, aren't they? Rio Adebisi is a big loss. And I think as at a minimum expectation, I think getting into the top half again will be a good one for them. Obviously, a few of their lone players have gone back as well. Obviously, Elliot Nevitt, their top goal scorer as well, they have lost. So I think at the moment, as a realistic aim, I'd probably say top half for Crewe. I think that wouldn't be a bad finish for them. But obviously, as fans at any club, I think you go into a season, every club wants to get promoted, don't they? And so we've got to be a little bit realistic. And I'd probably say top half for Crewe. MK Dons, we've got to stick them in automatic promotion, haven't we? I mean, the signings they're making a League Two super team at the moment. They're making some really good additions defensively. That's where they're sorting out. They're really adding quality into that department, it's massive for them, isn't it? Really. So I think MK Dons, with the finances that they have behind the club, they have to be looking to get automatic promotion. Anything less is a complete failure for them going into next season. Doncaster Rovers now, I'd probably say playoffs for now. I think they're bringing in some solid additions. Like Billy Sharp's a great name to bring in. Shows ambition that they're trying to show there. But I think they've got to build off last season's second half of the season finish and try and get in the playoffs again. I think they were, like I said, excellent in the back end of back end of last season. They're a big club, Doncaster, and will be looking to get out this league this season. But at a minimum expectation, they'll be looking to get into the playoffs personally. Now, Barrow, obviously losing Pete Wild is a big loss, isn't it, for them? Did a superb job, just fell short in both of his seasons there, towards the last 5 games of each season, just dropping out the playoffs. Obviously, Stephen Clements has come in, and things are not looking brilliant behind the scenes at Barrow at the moment. Obviously, with Pete Wadd leaving, I think it shows there's a little bit of instability there at Barrow. So I think if they can get a comfortable finish this season, I think that's what I'm expecting them to be at the moment at their aims. If they can just, finish around 13th, 14th, 15th would be a solid finish at the moment. Bradford, I mean, a club the size of Bradford, you've got to be looking at playoffs. I think if they don't get it this season, they're looking like they're going to be stuck in this league for a while, personally. Their minimum expectation as a club has to be the playoffs, Bradford, personally. The quality that they have, they've still got to bring in, I'd say, 3 or 4 more signings, but as a whole on the squad, they've got an excellent squad to compete next season. And yeah, with a good manager like Crewe Alexandra, I think the expectation will be to get into the playoffs. Wimbledon, this is a hard one. I don't want to throw every team in the playoffs, but Wimbledon's expectation, I'd probably say another top half finish, but you're looking at a really good playoff push for Wimbledon next season as a minimum expectation. Personally, I think Johnny Jackson has got to get it right this season. I think obviously all the fans have been looking to get into the playoffs, if not promotion. But I'm going to put them in top half. I think they're still lacking in a few key areas. I think they're losing Jack Curry at left back, which will be a big loss. So they've really got to push on next season, and if they can get I think they finished 10th last season. I can see a similar sort of finish next season currently, but at minimum expectation, you've got to be looking at top half. My side, Walsall, has to be playoffs, personally. I know might be a little bit biased coming from me as a Walsall fan, but we have to enter the playoffs next season. There's no arguments about it. If not, we have to be looking for the top 3. But a minimum expectation for us is the playoffs. It's a big defining season for Matt Sadler and Chavella. I think if we don't get promoted, I think there's going to be a lot of tension build up around the club. We have, like I said, we've got to make a real intent from the start, from the goal this season, be a consistent team in and around the top 7, and hopefully sneak into them top 3 places. We're still a little bit away to go. I still think we're lacking a bit of quality in the forward areas, but hopefully that comes in going into next season. Gillingham, I'm going to be ambitious. If you were a Gillingham fan, I'd say you've got to be looking at automatic promotion. You're spending a lot. You're spending good money on some really good players. Jack Nolan's an excellent addition. Elliot Nevitt, and I think they're going to bring in some more real top players. So I think the owners will put an expectation on the club that you've got to be looking to get automatic promotion going into next season. I think they're going to be one of the favourites to go up next season as well. Currently, they're probably bookies odds favourite. I'm not too sure. I haven't looked into that. But, Gillingham, they're going to be up there, aren't they? And I think an expectation will be to get promoted next season. Harrogate, I think Harrogate will be happy if they can finish in and around the top half again. They had a really good progressive last season. Personally, at times they were even looking at a playoff charge in a couple of scenarios last season. They have lost a few of their key players. Abraham Aldo is a big loss, but I do like the replacement for that. Stephen Duke McKenna is a great addition, I think, for them. Still think obviously they've got to add in more signings, but I think that's goes for most of these clubs. So I think another top half finish would be good for Harrogate. Notts County, you have to say playoffs, don't you? I think the fall off after Christmas was ridiculous, weren't it? I think they were actually in the top 7 in the new year. and then I think they ended up finished 14th, 15th. So bit of a disappointing end to the season. I think they're probably up there with one of the best teams in terms of the transfer business this season. Nick Cerula is a really good addition personally. I think they're bringing in some other good names as well. Alex Bass in between the sticks, Matty Platt at the back. So I think they're bringing in some good additions. I think what's going to be key, if they can keep one of Jody Jones or Macaulay Langstaff, or even both, I think that expectation does go up into automatic promotion, because I do then think they've got probably one of the best teams in the league. But I'm expecting one of them to leave. Probably I'd say Macaulay Langstaff at this time being, but potentially could be both. But for Notts County fans, they'll be hoping that not to happen. And at this present time, their expectation will be to get into the playoffs. Morecambe, survival. I think they'll be happy as a club if they can stay up next season. It's not looking good behind the scenes for Morecambe. Not much movement in terms of transfer activity at the moment. Obviously, they brought back Derek Adams, which is a big boost for them. They'll feel like they can stay up. And I think I think Derek Adams will probably go back into the market with players he's probably worked with before, that experience that is needed. So I think their expectation will be to survive, and I think that's what they brought Derek Adams in to do. I think Tranmere, I think obviously they finished lower half of last season. I think as a club, you expect Tranmere to be in and around promotion, don't you? But I put at this present time, I put them in the top half. I think if they can continue on the vein of signings they have made, they'll probably go into the playoffs. But at this present time, I still think they're lacking in a few positions. I do like the business side. The three signings they have brought in a real good top quality League Two players personally. So at the moment, I think they'll just be looking to improve on last season, but the patience will run thin one day. Tranmere keep finishing mid-table after mid-table. Tranmere are a big club, should be in League One minimum really. So you could make an argument to put them into the playoffs. So may change that at the end. Accrington, I think you're looking at a comfortable finish in terms of expectation next season. Obviously, first season without John Coleman, you need a little bit of stability, and I think they'll be looking for that. I think they're making some good signings from non-league, which is a positive for them. They're using the market really well, the scouting system, and trying to find hidden gems really that they can, you know, develop and get the best potential out of. So, yeah, I think they'll be looking for a comfortable finish next season. Might be a little bit boring for Accrington fans, but I think there's an expectation as an outsider. I'd personally say you're looking for a comfortable finish. Newport, I'd probably say survival. Even though I think they had a new owners come in recently, I believe, at Newport. But if I'm talking about this present time, I think their expectation would be to survive. Um, I know they're bringing in a lot of signings, but they did lose Graham Coughlin a couple of weeks ago. Depending on the replacement, it could be a good thing or a bad thing. But if you're talking about now, they'll be looking, for a survival finish. Their second half, their last 10 games of the season form, I think, was really poor. I think it was one of the worst in the league, actually. So I think at the moment, I'd probably put them in expectation to survive. Swindon, I think you got to be looking at this season at a top half finish. Mark Kennedy in charge this season, bringing in some experienced players. Obviously, as a club of Swindon, you are looking at like automatic promotion or minimum playoffs, but I think things beyond the scenes are not looking good as well. It's another club that it's not very well run club, is it, at the moment? So I think if they can get a top half finish, I think some fans will be happy with that. But like I've said before, every fan, you want to get promoted. I think if you haven't got that aim as a fan to win promotion, I think what's the point in supporting your team? Every fan wants that glory, that title winning success. So I could put every team in there, but we've got to be a little bit realistic. I think a top half finish wouldn't be a bad one for an expectation for Swindon. Salford, well, if you asked me like 5 years ago, you would probably say to get automatic promotion. But at the moment, it's probably a top half finish. They had a really poor finish last season after getting in the playoffs, didn't they? The season before that one. So I think they need a little bit of stability, like a couple of the teams. But rumours saying the money's running thin. Was ran out really at Salford at the moment. That's why they haven't won promotion. But we've seen it before. You don't need money to get out this league. You just need to have a good squad that binds together really well. So I think Salford would be happy with a top half finish. I think that is the minimum expectation going into next season. Grimsby, I'd probably say a comfortable finish. David Artell, I think obviously the pedigree of the manager did a really good job at Crewe, actually gone promoted and then stabilised really well in League One. But I think Grimsby is going to take a couple seasons, including this season, to really get a rebuild going. You know, try and get some young players in to suit David Artell's system. So I think if you can finish 13th, 14th, 15th for Grimsby, I think that is the minimum expectation. Colchester, I think, has to be another top half finish. I think, like I said, the expectation under Danny Carey's minimum will be to get top half. I think with a few more signings there, that could really creep up into the playoffs. You know, the Carey brothers, the Carey brothers have done brilliant jobs where they've been really. Lincoln, they did excellent. Didn't quite work out since then, has it really? I think they did okay at Portsmouth, didn't work out at Huddersfield, but they need a job here now that they can really bring the name back and they'll be looking for promotion potentially. But at this present time, I'll put them in top half, might change a few of them around. Chesterfield, now this is a hard one to predict, isn't it? I think they've got League Two players that were playing in the National League. They've got a League Two, maybe even a League One, experienced manager. So I think the minimum expectation, like I said, I might change a few of these around at the end, but I think Chesterfield will be happy if they can get, a top half finish. There could be. I saw a few Notts County fans last season were happy that they got mid-table and stayed up. So I'll put them into top half now, and then Bromley has to be survival. They'll probably be probably one of the teams with the lowest budgets going into next season. So they'll be looking to stay up, won't they, Bromley? And if they do anything more than that, it's a massive bonus for the football club. Bromley absolutely outstanding that they've gone to the Football League in the first place, and a massive credit to them. So if we can move some of these around, obviously we've got the top three here in automatic promotion. I'm going to say two up into the playoffs. I think first I'm going to move Tranmere. I think the club size of Tranmere, you have to be going into every season looking for a minimum of a playoff finish. So I'll put Tranmere in the playoffs. Then the next team I'll put in there, I'm going to put in, it's either Wimbledon or Chesterfield. I think Colchester will be happy with a top half finish going into next season at a minimum expectation. I think the club I'm going to put up is, I'm going to put Chesterfield into the playoffs. I'm going to put Wimbledon. Changing mine now. I think Wimbledon be looking to build on last season and an expectation. They'll be looking to get into the the playoffs. They'll be looking to build on it, and I think if they don't, pressure might build on the manager potentially. But there's still a way to go, and until the season starts. Just a good video idea to go through each team and think of the the realistic expectation going into next season. I think obviously it varies throughout the clubs. How they run and behind the scenes activity. So be an interesting season, and obviously some of these teams will be looking to prove me wrong and finish higher their expectations here. Thank you guys for watching this video. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.